Have you ever wondered if there's more to the universe than meets the eye? Well, just when we thought we knew the laws of nature, something extraordinary has just happened, something that challenges everything we thought we knew about physics and space itself. On February 15th, 2026, the James Webb Space Telescope transmitted data that stunned scientists and sent shockwaves through the world of astrophysics. This isn't just another discovery, it's a revelation that defies the second law of thermodynamics, the very principle that governs the way energy behaves in our universe. I'm talking about an object called 3A Atlas, an ancient comet that has just done the impossible. Now, if you know anything about comets, you'll understand that they're usually dying objects. They start to disintegrate as they approach the sun, shedding mass and turning into clouds of gas and dust. It's a predictable process, and it follows the basic principles of physics. But 3 Atlas? Well, it's rewriting the rulebook. 6 hours ago, NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory confirmed an astonishing spectral reading from the Comet 1 with a statistical probability of less than 1 inch, 4.7 billion. The comet, which should have been disintegrating under the harsh heat of the sun, suddenly reversed its decay. In a mere 1-8-minute window, it not only stopped breaking apart, but actually began to heal itself. Think about that for a moment. We're witnessing something no one expected, a cosmic object reversing the aging process and getting younger before our eyes. This isn't a glitch, and it's not some odd chemical reaction either. We're talking about a reversal of entropy itself. Imagine this. The surface of 3 Atlas, once crumbling under solar heat, is now recrystallizing. Ice that should have evaporated long ago is forming again, and not just any ice, crystalline ice that's in a lattice structure, something never before seen in a comet. The readings show fresh, pristine molecules appearing on the surface and in concentrations 400 times higher than before. And it gets even weirder. The gas cloud surrounding the comet isn't expanding as expected, it's shrinking. The comet is pulling in its own debris. What is going on? How can an object that should be decaying instead be healing itself? This question is one that many scientists, especially at the European Space Agency, ESA, are hesitant to answer. But the data is clear and the evidence is irrefutable. 3 Atlas is doing something that shouldn't be possible in the known universe. So, how do we explain this? Let's start by going over the timeline of events. It all began on February 12, 2026. The James Webb Space Telescope, conducting a routine spectroscopic analysis of 3 Atlas, was expecting to see the usual signs of decay. We were supposed to observe water, vapor, carbon monoxide, and dust being ejected into space as the comet approached the solar minimum. That's what comets do. But instead, the data sent back to the Space Telescope Science Institute in Baltimore was like nothing we've ever seen. The gas cloud around the nucleus began to shrink. This was not just a minor fluctuation. It contracted by a whopping 63% within just 4 hours. Where did all that material go? It didn't just vanish into the vacuum of space. It fell back onto the surface of the comet. And what did NASA detect? A sharp spike in the absorption lines for crystalline water ice. But here's the twist. This was not the usual amorphous ice we expect to find in deep space objects. This was something much more complicated: cubic ice, a highly ordered lattice structure. For this to form, there have to be very specific conditions, and yet 3 Atlas is doing it. This shouldn't be possible inside the frost line, where temperatures should be rising, and instead the comet is cooling down. The surface of 3 Atlas is defying the natural order, reordering itself, and becoming more complex under the very heat that should be destroying it. What's happening here? This isn't just some simple anomaly. The team at NASA didn't take this lightly, so they cross-referenced the data with the European Space Agency's UCLA telescope, which had been tasked with mapping the geometry of the dark universe. At 14:15 UTC on the same day, ESA confirmed that the comet's brightness was increasing, not fading as expected, but getting brighter. The surface was polishing itself, healing in real time. Then, ground observations at the ALMA array in Chile confirmed what no one thought possible. The gas surrounding the comet was accelerating toward the nucleus at 400 meters per second. That's faster than it should be, and it's only one piece of the puzzle. There are 3 independent sources, each with different methods of observing the comet, and all of them are pointing to the same conclusion. 3 Atlas is healing itself. Let that sink in. We are seeing a cosmic object not just defying the laws of nature, but actively reversing its own disintegration. A comet that should be slowly dying is instead getting younger. This isn't just science fiction, it's happening right now, and the implications are profound. Something is happening in deep space that is far beyond our current understanding. In the next parts of this video, we'll dive deeper into the bizarre properties of 3 Atlas and explore the most unsettling question of all: what is powering this cosmic revival? Stay tuned. Now that we've seen what's happening on the surface of 3 Atlas, let's take a step back and understand the bigger picture. What is the significance of the ice reforming? Why is this so important? You see, when we study comets, we're usually looking at their final moments as they approach. The Sunday comets are known for sublimating, turning from solid to gas as they get closer to solar radiation. It's a process that results in the loss of mass. So, when we observed 3 Atlas undergoing a complete transformation, something that goes against everything we know, it raised some serious questions. This comet is no longer behaving like any comet we've ever observed. It's not just losing mass, it's gaining it back. More than that, the process by which 3 Atlas is reforming its ice and stabilizing itself is highly controlled. We are not witnessing a random reaction or a temporary glitch. This is happening in an incredibly structured and consistent manner. And the implications of this phenomenon go beyond just the laws of thermodynamics. The physics behind it suggests something more intelligent, more purposeful than we could ever have anticipated from a natural object. But what could it be? What's even more puzzling is the rate at which this reversal is happening. Just 24 hours ago, the surface of 3 Atlas was reforming at a rate of 2 tons per second. A day later, it had escalated to 8 tons per second, and as of now, the rate has surpassed a staggering 30 tons per second. That's right. The comet is sealing itself back up faster than we could have imagined, and this rate is not slowing down, it's accelerating. What could be behind this rapid recovery? One thing that stands out is the temperature differential. Typically, when an object like this gets close to the sun, we would expect the surface to heat up, but instead, 3 Atlas is actively cooling itself down. How is this possible? The comet is manipulating its thermal environment, creating cold spots on its surface where ice can reform. This isn't just a minor fluctuation in temperature, it's a precise and intentional cooling process. The surface is cooling by a massive 140 degrees, which, when you consider the proximity to the sun, is extraordinary. To put it simply, this is not normal comet behavior. It's something that defies the basic rules of heat transfer in physics. We're dealing with a cooling mechanism so advanced that it seems almost unnatural. And the most perplexing part of all, this active cooling is not just happening randomly, it's taking place in highly specific locations on the comet's surface, precisely where the ice needs to form. It's like 3 Atlas has an internal system that's pumping heat away from its surface as though it were trying to preserve itself, to protect something inside. But what exactly is inside this comet? That's the million-dollar question. As if that wasn't strange enough, let's talk about the material composition of 3 Atlas and how it's defying every expectation. When scientists looked at the data, something even more disturbing emerged. The ice reforming on the surface of the comet isn't just water ice, it's doped with complex hydrocarbons known as tholins. These compounds are usually formed through radiation, and they are often associated with the presence of organic molecules. But here's the catch. The tholins on 3 Atlas aren't just randomly dispersed. They are arranged in highly specific geometric patterns that should not naturally occur in space. This isn't something we've seen in any comet before. Normally, ice in space forms in a disordered, amorphous way, but the ice on 3 Atlas is forming in a highly structured, crystalline lattice, and the patterns we see within that ice are straight lines, sharp angles, right angles, even something we don't expect in natural objects in space. These specific patterns are changing the way the comet reflects light, making it less visible to certain radar wavelengths. It's almost as if the comet is hiding something, actively manipulating its appearance to stay undetected. But why would a comet need to hide? What's inside that it's trying to protect? We've always known comets to be chaotic, unpredictable objects, vulnerable to the forces around them. But now, 3 Atlas is exhibiting behavior that suggests something far more controlled, almost as if it were reacting to a threat. Could it be that this comet is not just a cosmic object, but a highly functional structure designed with a purpose? The more we analyze the surface and the behavior of this object, the less it seems like a simple ball of ice and dust. Instead, it's beginning to look like something engineered, something more than just a rock drifting through space. And that leads us to another layer of the mystery. If 3 Atlas is behaving in such an intentional manner, could it be that this is not just a random occurrence? Could this be a pre-programmed response to its environment? There is no denying that the timing of the cooling and the formation of these patterns is too precise to be a coincidence. The comet crossed a specific threshold from the sun, and that's when the behavior changed. It's as if it was waiting for the right conditions to activate. And once it did, the comet began a process that no natural object could replicate. As the situation continues to unfold, there's another dimension to this mystery that we can't ignore: the signal. On February 15th, just hours after the incredible findings about the comet's surface and behavior, something else emerged. The Green Bank Telescope in West Virginia picked up something that had never been detected before. While tracking the rotation of 3 Atlas, the telescope noticed a coherent electromagnetic pulse. This wasn't the usual static or random noise we get from cosmic radiation. It was a structured, rhythmic signal, a signal that repeated every 23 seconds, exactly to the millisecond. The kind of precision you would expect from an atomic clock, not a spinning rock tumbling through space. This signal is unlike anything we've observed before, and the implications are staggering. If this pulse is coming from a natural object, then it defies everything we know about how cosmic bodies behave. Natural objects, such as comets or asteroids, spin, but their rotation periods are usually irregular, drifting due to gravitational perturbations. Not 3A Atlas. The signal it's emitting is perfectly consistent with no drift. It's unshakable, and that's not even the most perplexing part. The frequency of this pulse is 1.42 gigahertz, exactly the frequency used by scientists in the search for extraterrestrial life. This is the water hole frequency, a quiet part of the radio spectrum where intelligent civilizations might send signals. And the fact that 3 Atlas is emitting a signal at this frequency with such precision is highly suggestive of intent. This is no random cosmic phenomenon. This is a signal meant to be heard. And what's even more unsettling is the modulation of the signal. It contains a series of prime number intervals, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11 repeating in a loop. Now, prime numbers are something we associate with intelligence, with the ability to understand mathematics. Natural objects don't count in primes, but here we're seeing something that clearly does. This discovery is more than just an intriguing anomaly. It's a profound shift in how we understand the universe. The signal from 3 Atlas is not only structured, but it's also highly directional. It's not broadcasting in all directions, as you'd expect from a random cosmic event. Instead, it's aimed directly at Earth. The object has actually adjusted its rotation axis by 0.4 degrees to keep this beam locked onto our planet. Think about that for a moment. A comet, a celestial body that's supposed to be just a rock in space, has somehow reoriented itself in space to send a signal in our direction. That's not just an accident. That's intentional. That requires active control. That requires precision. The implications of this discovery are huge. If this signal is coming from a natural object, we are looking at something entirely new in astrophysics. A cosmic object capable of emitting a highly structured, directed signal with no drift over time. But there's a far more unsettling possibility. What if this signal isn't coming from a random comet? What if 3 Atlas is not just a rock? What if it's something far more complex, something engineered, something designed to communicate? The precision with which this object is functioning is simply too advanced to be natural. The evidence points toward one conclusion: we may not be looking at a comet at all. Instead, we might be observing a probe, an ancient device that's been lying dormant for millions of years, waiting for the right conditions to activate. Now, let's bring everything together. What do we know for sure? First, 3 Atlas is reversing its own decay. The surface is reforming, ice is crystallizing, and the object is healing itself in ways that defy the second law of thermodynamics. Second, we've detected a highly structured, rhythmic electromagnetic signal coming from the comet. This signal is not just a random fluctuation, it is deliberate, precise, and directed at Earth. Third, the object is adjusting its rotation to maintain that beam, something no natural object has ever done. And the final piece, the signal is increasing in strength as 3 Atlas approaches the Sun, drawing power from somewhere, somehow. This leads us to a terrifying conclusion. If this is a natural phenomenon, we have discovered an entirely new form of matter capable of manipulating entropy and producing complex radio signals. But if this is something more, something engineered, then we may not be alone. 3 Atlas may be a probe, a device from an intelligent civilization sending a status report across the stars. And it's not just saying hello, it's waiting for a response. The clock is ticking, and in just 48 hours, the comet will cross the orbit of Mars. New data is coming in fast. Whatever 3 Atlas truly is, we are about to find out. Stay tuned, because the answers may change everything we know about the universe. If you found this discovery as fascinating as I have, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more updates on this incredible story. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next installment of what could be the most important scientific discovery of our lifetime.